Hey everyone, Luxem Babe here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my story around why I stopped creating free content in my business and basically why I'm back creating free content at this very point in time. So, buckle up. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of behind the scenes in my business. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Jacqueline. I'm a Money Witch CFO for magical online brands. I support 6 and 7 figure online entrepreneurs with the CFO function of their business. So, bookkeeping, operations, and I also mentor women when it comes to their psychic connection with money, their connection with abundance consciousness. I have a text community called the Money Channel, which is all about connecting to your psychic connection with money. And I've basically been sharing my story, my personal story with money and what I've done for my clients on the internet for about 5 years now. 5 years ago, I really came out. So this was May of 2018. I really came out and started being much more public with my story around money, which started with my fiance and I manifesting $200,000 lottery wins in a matter of 9 months. That basically catapulted me into this world of manifesting money, learning about the mechanics of how money works, the energy around money, and really have built a business from the crazy experiences that I've had with money since then. So it's been about 5 years since I've really been sharing my story online. In the first 2 years, so 2018, 2019, and 2020, I really went hard into creating free content. I was always doing Facebook Lives back when that was a big thing. Really focused on my content creation for Instagram, creating posts, showing up on stories, showing up live on Instagram. I had a free Facebook group. And it got to the point in October, November of 2020, where I was tapped, basically. I was just like energetically so done creating free content. I felt like I had created so much already. And at that point, also, I really wasn't great at repurposing things, right? So for me, it was much easier for me to sit down and just record a whole new video or record a story right after I recorded a video because I didn't want to go in and edit that video, for example, right? I didn't want to learn a new software. I didn't want to learn video editing, which still to this day, I do very minimal editing in any of my videos or anything. So around that time, I decided, okay, I'm shutting my Facebook group down. I'm not doing this. It just felt really unsustainable for my energy, right? And then you see the people, if you're an online entrepreneur, you see people doing, 365-day live challenges or 365 days of reels where they'll create a new reel or a new live every single day. They'll go live every single day. And for me, that just sounded so exhausting. And that's also just not how I wanted to build my business, right? I didn't actually want success to come through those means. I didn't want it to come that way. And so I figured, well, why am I doing something for the hopes of the result, right? The result being I wanted to make more money in my business. I wanted to sustain myself with my business income. Why would I continue doing something when I actually don't want that to work out? I don't want that to be the way that my success comes. And I see this a lot with people that come to work with me for, money mentorship is they have convinced themselves doing something that they don't want to do is the only way that success is going to show up for them because it can't be easier than that, because it can't happen the way they want it to happen. They have a fixed idea of how success is going to show up, how money is going to show up. And what that looks like for them is a lot of self-sacrifice and a lot of dishonoring themselves and dishonoring their energy. But they keep moving towards it because they think that that's what's going to provide them the result. When the result doesn't come, they're confused, right? Because I just sacrificed all of this. Why isn't the result here? And, zooming out and looking at it from an energetic perspective, you can see how subconsciously, and maybe our soul has something to do with this too. The higher forces have something to do with this. They're not going to reward that behavior is not going to be rewarded. Our soul is not going to reward us sacrificing ourselves with money and success. That's an old paradigm. So really the new paradigm of success is completely honoring your energy. And I'm not going to sit here and BS you and say that, sometimes in business you don't have to do things you don't want to do. Sometimes you do. You have to have uncomfortable conversations. You have to push yourself sometimes. You have to pull yourself up, be able to motivate yourself. There's a lot of things as a CEO or as a business owner where, you might not want to do them. But if that's the majority of your life and the majority of how you run your business, you might find it difficult to attain success under that model. And so for people that are coming to me in that situation, when I look at, years and years maybe of them repeating these same behaviors and ultimately doing things that they don't want to do, my first reaction to that, and the first thing I tell people is, if it was going to work, it would have worked by now, right? If you working really hard and sacrificing yourself and, basically just tapping yourself out energetically, creating too much, putting too much energy into something, if that was going to work, if the old paradigm was going to work for you, it would have resulted in something by now. If it's not working and you've put this, consistent effort towards something, and that goes for anything. If you've put consistent effort towards something and it's still not working, you need to try something else. You can't just keep doubling down on things that aren't working and aren't giving you that those breadcrumbs of what you're actually supposed to be doing, right? If something works in the micro, it's going to work in the macro. So if it's not working in the micro, if you're not even getting a small result out of it, you're not probably going to get a huge result, especially when it comes to building your business. You have to kind of follow those breadcrumbs and find those little ways that work for you. And pay attention to what is working. Keep doing more of what does work. Do less of what doesn't work. It sounds so simple when you say it like that. But basically, I got to the point where I was just energetically tapped. I shut down my free Facebook group. I decided I'm not doing free content anymore. I'm not doing free live streams anymore. And that was my journey into opening up my very first membership, which was my Patreon. My Patreon was this, as soon as I started my Patreon, I felt the energy immediately lift up, because now I was able to create a community just like my Facebook group, but it had more engagement. I felt better, so I was able to create content so much more seamlessly, and the people there were getting so much more value out of it. And guess what? It was also a paid community. This wasn't free content I was creating. So the first tier was $8 or $9. And my second tier, which I put more business content into, I think it was $27. It was under $30. So for that small exchange, people were able to get so much more value, and I felt better about it because the exchange was already happening. I wasn't just creating free content, throwing it into the void and hoping that it would come back in the form of people buying my courses or people signing up for to work with me one-on-one, booking a session with me, whatever the offers I had at that point. It was much more the exchange was already being facilitated. The money was already there. Even, of course, even though it wasn't this monumental amount of money for me, right? It was a couple $100s a month. But to me, the way it felt in the energy exchange that was being facilitated felt 1,000 times better. I felt like a millionaire making $8 $8 from each person creating videos for them versus creating videos for free. And so what that turned into is basically this, 2.5-year experiment of me creating various communities. After about a year of having my Patreon, I got to this, I had created so much, and I kind of got to this place where I didn't have a clear direction of where I was going, and I was kind of feeling, well, to be honest with you, I was feeling this other creation come forth, which was the Open Mind Society, which was my idea to create a hub of creators. So there was like 5 to 10 creators at one time, and we were all co-creating content. We were all contributing content for the community. And that again was, I believe, $47 a month. And I did that for about 10 months. And there was something not quite clicking with me with that. Again, I had to sit back and analyze my own strengths and weaknesses in my business, and managing a high volume of administrative tasks just wasn't it wasn't, and it still isn't, my forte. So it's been about a year since I closed the Open Mind Society down. It was really fun. I met some of the most amazing people that I'm still friends with today, so I can't say that I regret anything like that. And then for the last 9 months, I've had the Money Channel, which is a text community. So all of the content, one of the biggest complaints I heard with my Patreon and with the Open Mind Society, which I hosted on my own website, on my Podia site, one of the biggest complaints I heard is, oh, there's too many logins, there's too many different platforms. You know, people are so much less likely to view the content if they need to have a whole separate login to be able to get access to it. So when I found Hey Daily, which is the platform I use now, which texts the content directly to my clients' phones, and it's international. So there's people we have 3 or 4 different countries in the Money Channel right now. So when I found, this platform, I'm like, okay, now we're talking. Now this feels sustainable. It takes the admin out of it. It takes, because it's all texted, the platform is very simple. I don't have to manage, other creators or other creators' content. There's no emailing or anything. It's all just delivered through text. If I have a message to send to them, I just go on there and send it through text message. So I started this in September, and having that community has just been like one of the greatest joys. I really feel like it's one of my sole purposes to host that community and help the women that are there. And the format for that is I basically create content every month. Usually it's about 7 videos a month that I create. And then I also do money readings. So I'm pulling cards and doing a full money reading for the members, basically how they can connect to their highest abundance timeline. It's really fun. It assimilates with my energy perfectly. And so basically what I'm trying to say here is that for the last 2.5 years, rather than focusing on free content and people that haven't paid me yet, I'm focusing on people that are already paying me and creating content specifically for them. And so that for a long time has felt so much better to me. And what it's eliminated in my business is having to stick to the kind of preconceived model of free masterclasses and going live all the time, and just kind of doing those activities that honestly drained my energy in order to build my business, and instead inviting people to pay me upfront for me to then create for them, and having more of that intimate connection with my audience in that way. But now I am feeling this really big burst of energy to start creating free content again. And this is what this whole video is about, is why I initially left. Basically, I was energetically tapped. I didn't want to build my business that way. Now that my business has been stabilized, and now that, again, when I think about my business 2.5 years ago, back in October 2020, I didn't have email sequences set up. I didn't have funnels set up. I didn't have a cohesive, there was just so much that was very jumbled and not cohesive. And today, and I was also scaling massively too. So in 2020, I had replaced, that was the first year I didn't work for anyone else. I had quit my job December of 2019. 2020, I had replaced my corporate income. 2021, I doubled it. And 2022, I doubled it again. And then 2023, I'm not quite on track to double it again, but, so I have also scaled my business massively, is what I'm trying to say. Now that I feel stabilized at this area, I've made the same amount of money now in my business. I've had the same clients, basically the same revenue streams for since January of 2022, so about a year and a half now. Now I'm finally feeling ready. I'm feeling stabilized to start focusing on growing my business again. Well, what's the best way to do that is to get your more eyes on your work, right? I have the offers already set up. I have the ways to work with me, which a couple years ago I really hadn't stabilized that yet. Now the offers are there, people can sign up for the things, and now it's time to get more eyes on my work. And rather than, making people pay me before they get to experience my work, I'm back in free content creation mode. So the reason I created this video is just for you to be able to see those kind of waves in your business and to give yourself permission to change your mind about this kind of stuff too, right? If you would have asked me a year and a half ago, well, are you going to get back into creating free videos for people, I probably would have said no, right? I would have been really stuck in my belief system and in my ways. But now I'm seeing how that's the best thing for my business. And that's really what you have to do as an entrepreneur is pay attention to the trends, pay attention to your wave of your energy, and also pay attention to what your business needs. What you want to do or what you have an idea you should be doing and what your business needs could be two totally different things, right? So also not being too stubborn in that and just like giving yourself permission to be flexible with all of that. And also, something that I've been paying attention to is this new era of content creation that's out now, which is short form video content, which is TikToks. Dancing to music, doing some corny stuff that I'm just like not gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna dance. I'm not going to do clickbaity things. I'm not going to hop on trends. I'm just not doing that to grow my business, right? So I still am kind of putting my foot down, drawing a line in the sand and doing it my own way and not doing it in a way where I'm being ignorant to the trends that are happening, right? But also not compromising on my integrity, I guess, is the best way to say it. And I'm not trying to say if you dance on TikTok that you're compromising your integrity, right? That might be a totally fun and creative way for you to build your business. It's just, that's not my personality. And so it would be disingenuous for me to try to build my business that way, right? Because then someone's going to see a TikTok of me dancing and being like this. And then when they hire me, I'm going to be completely different and be my real self. That doesn't actually make sense. So you need to make sure that the way you're creating content is in line with your personality and in line with how the type of people you also want coming into your world, right? I've gone viral on TikTok a couple times. My videos had like over 50,000 views. One of them had over 100,000 views. And while that did bring in some new people into my world because I scrambled at the last minute to kind of put an opt-in together so that people could click on a link and actually sign up for something, what it also brought was a lot of really unaligned people into my life too. It wasn't necessarily, you can't control obviously what goes viral, but it wasn't necessarily the right audience to come into my world, right? So I could spend hours and hours creating TikToks, but if the wrong people are coming into my spaces, or people that ultimately aren't going to buy things are opting into my email list, what good is that doing to me? How is that effective? So it's also not always about the numbers. It's not about how many people are viewing or liking your video or commenting on it. It's about connecting with the right people that are going to be aligned with where you're going in your business. So short form video, I'll still get on Instagram stories. I'm still creating that for myself. And then the other thing that I see being a huge trend is memes. Some really big accounts all they're doing is just repurposing memes, right? They're putting a picture of themselves and then the rest of the thread is repurposed memes that they found from somewhere else, which by the way is against Instagram's terms and conditions. So you might not want to do that too much, because if you see if you're an original meme creator or content creator and you see your meme on someone else's page, you actually could file a copyright claim. So it's not, that's why I opened my Instagram account, Abundance Light Codes. So it's at Abundance Light Codes. And I started creating original memes. I started creating original content because I'm like, what's a fun way for me to fit in with my personality, my sense of humor? What's the best way for people to get to know me if they're not going to want to sit down and listen to a video, or they're not going to want to read through about my business or read through about numbers? Well, read these memes. You can get a little taste of my sense of humor, right? You can still get to know me through that way. So creating original content is the key, especially with AI and all of that kind of stuff coming in to this space, which I'll definitely make another video about that, because there's all these ideas that we need to compete with AI when actually that is not correct at all. So anyways, that is my story, why I originally stopped creating free content and why I'm back and feeling the surge and feeling the vibe around connecting with more people and creating content. So if this video helped you have clarity in your own business or your own entrepreneurial goals, be sure to share it with someone, share it with a friend, share it with the person that you want to take this entrepreneurial journey with. Find a biz bestie. Biz besties are so important. Some of my closest friends today are people that I've met online. So be sure to get connected with a community. If you want to work with me more personally, my website is www.numbersfairy.com, and all the links are below if you want to join the money channel. Connect with me on Instagram. I would love to get to know you more outside of YouTube. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.